Does anyone have a question they would like? You know, this time of the year, I know in my life is always very important because, as I've said many times, there's a major cycle coming to an end. You know, people make New Year's resolutions. The new year's going to be different. The first days of the year always have some kind of freshness about it, a newness about it. And I think this is something that is, you know, I always feel at the end of the year, two things, a lot of joy in my heart, and then, you know, having to let go of things of the past. And I think these two things are always in conflict with each other. And this time of the year just brings it to the surface. It allows us to see clearly that there is something new coming. There is a new year coming. And it allows us to see that not only the year, but just about everything in life operates in cycles. Things are born, they live, and they die. You know, the beginning of the month, the middle of the month, the end of the month. You know, seasons come and go. And, you know, we as people hold on so tightly to things of the past, to things that we refuse to let go, that are really congesting us inside and keeping us from truly reaching a higher level of consciousness in our lives. This time of the year is a perfect time to go inside oneself and say, I truly am going to build an inner life that allows me to let go, that allows me to transform the blocks, the obstructions inside into energy that really is of a positive nature. Energy that's going to help me grow and develop a spiritual life, to become more of a human being, to, you know, just function, you know, with a higher degree of consciousness in the world. And no matter how high our degree of consciousness is, there's always more we can learn and more we can attain and grow towards. And, you know, and I think that's one of the miracles of being connected to energy that's infinite in the universe. There is no limit to the amount of growth that can take place inside a human being. This time of the year is a really good reminder of this. And I think we shouldn't fight it. We should really let go. Walk away from all of the stuff that congests your heart, that gets you upset, that doesn't allow you to function on the highest level of your own creativity. Now, this is not easy to do. It takes a lot of inner strength. But frankly, that's all this meditation is about, is building that kind of inner strength. So one can just walk away, if not physically, but emotionally, mentally, psychically, from the things that we really allow to keep us from growing and that truly bother us as human beings. Does anyone have a question?
I'll ask a question, Stuart. Could you talk about how you had to deal with feelings of having taken the wrong action, or having messed up, or the sense of having misjudged something? And
you know, Cyrus, I do it in two ways. First of all, if it's done to me, I have to find a place in my heart that forgives the people that do it. Secondly, I have to learn from whatever mistakes I make. Mistakes aren't really negative. They're just opportunities to learn and to grow. You know, screw-ups are not negativity. And yet, yes, we can hurt people, we can do things, but there's always an apology. There's, look, I made a mistake, I'm sorry. And if the person doesn't forgive one, then we have to forgive ourselves and forgive them. Because without that, we don't move on in life. Yeah, I make mistakes. I do things that maybe I shouldn't do. And, but I don't do them to ever hurt anybody or to intimidate people. They're just mistakes. And they're there to teach me that, Stuart, you haven't arrived yet. You have to still continue to grow inside yourself. So I don't look at them as negative things. I look at them as opportunities for me to develop my life. And I'm not going to feel guilty about them, and I'm not going to beat myself up about them. I'm just going to say, okay, what did I learn here? How can I move on in my life? How can I become a more conscious human being? And I think these are really important things to learn. Then there's no more positive and negative. There's just opportunities to learn in life. And yes, some negative things are horrible. I mean, genocide and, wars and, it's horrible. And the real tragedy of all those things is nobody learns anything. People just go on and keep repeating history over and over again. They never stop from it and say, what the hell did I learn from this? What can I do to make myself a better person and help to make the people around me maybe better people? So all of this is, to me, it's not negative. It's just, what do you learn? I mean, I couldn't believe after World War II, people would ever fight again. After the horror that went on in Europe and, in Asia, and that people would say, my God, what did we do? And yet there's never been a day alive that I can remember where there hasn't been a war somewhere on the planet Earth. No, people don't learn. Revenge, anger, religious things, which are the worst of all. Nobody learns. An eye for an eye. I love what Gandhi said. Well, if it's an eye for an eye, then the entire world is going to wind up being blind, which is true. So that's how I approach this. And it took me a long time, honestly, to learn how to do this. I didn't do this when I was younger. I walked around with a big, hole in my chest, anger, guilt, anger, fear. And years of working on myself brought me to the place I Stuart, what? Why? It doesn't mean I'll let people step all over me. And, it's not innocence, it is innocence, but it's innocence with real strength behind it. That doesn't allow that innocence to be trampled by the mistakes I make and the mistakes other people make in this life. I mean, I learned after years of doing this work how to do this. It enables me to deal with, look, on any given Sunday and Thursday, I have 50 to 60 people in meditation classes. How do you deal with so many people? Everybody brings a different energy, a different thing, different problems they have. I have to have the strength inside to be able to transform whatever comes my way into my spiritual life. And this is not just me. Everyone here has the tools to do this. And if you listen, the universe always teaches you how to do it. I've told this story before. I'll tell it again. It's a wonderful story. When I was younger, between the age of about 20 and 20, when I wasn't in Europe and traveling around the world, and I was back in New York. I used to work to earn a living, waiting tables and bartending and stuff like that, because I could always get a job and I had instant money in my pocket and I didn't have to commit myself to a lifetime of slavery at some major corporation, you know, and I would do this. And I remember I was working in one restaurant, and I'll never forget it. There was a bartender there. I was waiting tables, who I could not go up and say, "Give me a martini," for a customer without getting into a fight with this guy. It was horrible. And I used to hear Rudy talk about similar things that I talked about today. And I say, and I said, my God, and I couldn't, the guy is just, his very presence just aggravated me, you know, I couldn't get, anyway, I'm standing at the bar one evening and it was very slow and he's talking to one of the waiters about how he's going to meet his girlfriend tonight to have a midnight breakfast and they're going to celebrate some, you know, 2-year anniversary or something like that. And I stood there, my mouth dropped. I thought this woman must be a freaking saint to be able to go out with this guy and sleep with this guy and celebrate with this guy. I mean, and suddenly something, the universe was teaching me something. Stuart, you know, find something, you know, of God in this person. Find something that's human in him. And maybe the fighting will stop. Maybe, and you know, from that point on, for the other 6 months that I worked in that restaurant, I never had a fight with him again. We even wound up having conversations and talking about things. And the universe was just teaching me, look, all right, you are aggravated by that, but there's something in him somebody else can love. That person has more consciousness than you. You know, find something you like about him. Stop fighting with him. He's just a human being. Now, if people with religious beliefs would start doing this kind of thing, understand they're all human beings. They have different beliefs. Okay, we all have different beliefs. But different beliefs in the world is what makes the world really interesting. Not everybody believing the exact same thing and following the same line. Suddenly people would listen to each other and learn from each other. And frankly, the world would become certainly a more sane place to live in. So, you know, if you are open and listening to life, it always tells you something to resolve the situation. And it always tells you something that's going to help you to open your heart and to use what is coming your way to grow. First of all, develop one's humanity. After the humanity, the spiritual life is just an organic outgrowth of learning how to live here without judging people, fighting with people, arguing, knowing better than people, the ability to listen to people and learn from them. I must have had experiences like that. I don't know how many hundreds of times. And it was always listening to life.
It's 2:00.
That gave me the ability to turn something around. Because everything is God. Everything is a manifestation of God. And everything is there in life, including our own craziness, to teach us something about what we have to do to grow. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome, Cyrus. Enjoy your vacation in Switzerland. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, just an announcement, and then we'll have an end to the class. I was going to have a retreat next month. People have asked me about this today in Miami, not in New York, but in Miami, to do a weekend of hands-on healing, 3 classes a day, regular, it's a very powerful weekend. I used to do this every month, before this COVID thing came. And, but I had to kind of put it on hold temporarily, just as I put on in-person classes in my apartment on hold because of this, illness that's kind of surging everywhere today. And, I don't want to get sick and I don't want anyone to bring sickness and make other people sick. And so I'm trying to be cautious about this. Usually I'm not cautious, but this time I am. My daughter just had COVID last week, and thank God it was a very mild case of it, and she's been vaccinated 3 times, and it went away in a day, but she was tested positive. And I went and had a test, I was tested negative. So I'm not gonna have, I'm putting it on hold. It was gonna be the weekend, I think, of the 19th and the 20th of February. And I will let you all know if this whole thing turns around. If people want to come, Miami is a nice place to also take a vacation. It's warm and fun. So I'll let you all know. As far as in-person classes here, I've also put that on hold. And I just don't want people bringing anything. Even today, if you're vaccinated, people are getting COVID. And I just, this is going to all quiet down soon. I think we're coming to the last grandstand of this problem, and it's going to quiet down soon. So that's what's going on. I wanted to inform you all. And, again, as I always say after every class, God bless you all. Thank you. I'm here to learn. Honestly, I come here to learn. I come here to grow. I don't come here to teach. And that's really true. I come here to learn. And I'm not a guru. I am here just as a human being wanting to grow every day and get closer and closer to God. And your presence here is making this possible. And I'm hopefully it's making it possible for you as well. So bless you all. And there'll be a class on Thursday and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. God bless you all. Bye.
Thank you.
You're
Bye.
welcome.